All right. And 3, 2, 1, and action. What's up, everybody? It's Tony Tubes. I'm here with the Dakota Podcasting Experience. Yeah. Down up here in South Dakota. Yeah. We're going backwards, South Dakota. Yeah. I already talked about our stupid-ass governor. She's done a lot of other stupid shit already since my last video, which I have to say, thank you guys, everybody, so much for all the love for the last video, talking about the drug laws in South Dakota and everything. If you haven't checked it out, it's called Christy Nome, You're Dumb. And yeah, that was our last podcast. It is 3/24/2019 at 9:57 in the PM. My wife's going to be home in an hour. So I got to get this shit. Recorded. I wanted to talk a little bit today, and it might take the whole hour. I want to talk a little bit about small town USA. Anytown USA. Little ass towns, man. Talking about maybe 40,000 and down. Because I live in a state that's predominantly that. Like, that's the main thing in this state is little ass towns. And, you know, if you look at the big towns like Sioux Falls, Rapid's a little bit different out there because there's actually things to look at, you know. But you look at Sioux Falls, and I've always thought that Sioux Falls was like you know, you got around here, you got Webster, Groton, Aberdeen, Ipswich, Redfield, Tulare, Frankfort, all these little ass towns, man. I know Aberdeen's like 30,000 people. Oh, well, woohoo. But all these little ass towns, it's like if you mashed all of those together, if you mashed them all together into one big just town fuck, that would be Sioux Falls. And Sioux Falls is really nuts because it's like one neighborhood you're driving by and it's like Home Alone houses. And in the next neighborhood, it's like Friday houses. And then it's a little bit nicer houses. And then it's a little bit less nicer. Like, there's no, like, neighborhoods. It's all just, like, block to block. It's just a crapshoot. But I'm talking about really small towns. You know, like, the town that we live in right now is, like, what is it? Like, 3,000 people? Something like that. Redfield. It's like 3,000 people. Towns like that. You know, and I'm pretty sure that, like, or no, is it 2,000 people? I don't remember. 2,000 or 3,000. But anyways, if it's 2,000, I'm saying this. That there's 1,500 kids in this town and 500 adults. There's so many kids in this fucking town. And that's one of the things about small towns is that they do have an abundance of kids, and an abundance of teen pregnancies, and all that stuff because there's not a lot to do in these small towns. There's just not a lot to do. You know, like, I had my dad come into town from out of town, and he's like, oh, I want to take the kids to do something. Well, the bowling alley's closed. 5 feet of fucking snow on the ground. Negative 20-degree temperatures and shit. It's like, what are we going to do? Nothing. Can't do shit, dude. Oh, we can go down to the armory and shoot hoops. You know, that's okay, great. You know, but at the same time, it's like, come on, man. Like, this sucks. Like, little towns kind of suck, you know. And I see all these articles. It's like, you know, small towns are making a comeback in the USA, and people are starting to move to these small towns, and top 10 small towns to live in South Dakota, top 10 small towns to live in the United States. A small town won the best, you know, least amount of crime in the United States. You know, all this stuff, man, about small town America. And here's the deal about small town America. If you have a lot of fucking money and you want to move to small town America, go ahead. You're going to have a fucking ball, dude. You're going to have a wonderful time coming to South Dakota or coming to small towns and stuff. Because, I mean, that's what these towns cater to is money. Lots and lots of money. You don't even know where it all comes from. Because, you know, like, Redfield is like divided into like 3 or 4 different parts. It's like you got the farm people, you got the people that work at the state school, you got the people that work at the ethanol plant, you got some people that work, for the railroad and shit, and then you got some miscellaneous crap around town, that people can do. And so it's like, my wife and I both make, pretty good money at our job and stuff like that, but we're still struggling. We're still struggling day to day. And the cost of living in these little towns is going up because people are moving there so much. But the thing about it is hierarchy of the small town. If you know a lot of people, if you grew up here and your parents, went out and did everything and were involved in everything, then you're probably going to have a good ride. But if you're like me, and I move here and I know nobody, and everybody looks at you like you're an alien, like you're an immigrant or something like that. They don't know who you are. And that's the thing, is it's hard to get legs up in a town like that. Like I was looking for work in this town for a while, good work. I don't want to make $8 an hour. I can't make $8 an hour. My time is worth more than that, but it's hard living in a small town. So sometimes you have to deal with shit like that. But I'm looking around for jobs and stuff, and it's like, God, I can't find shit. And then all of a sudden you see, somebody quit their job here and they immediately got a really good job, like doing this for the city or doing that. It's like, well, I just talked to the fucking city and they said they didn't have anything. He knew somebody. That's the thing about little towns, is that people know people. And that is what drives these little towns a lot, is that it's who you know. And if you're like my wife and I, who we're kind of, I mingle around with people at work and I mingle with people at the gas station and stuff. But as far as me, like, spreading my wings in the community, I'm not that guy. I don't like huge crowds of people that I have to like mingle around in and stuff like that. I don't, I just don't have that. I don't have that thing, and we're just kind of private people, and people take that weirdly in small towns if you don't go to everything. And but it's really who in these towns, and that includes like promotions, and it like I said, getting jobs, like finding work out in the community that's decent, that is good pay and stuff like that. It's like all of a sudden somebody gets something that you never even knew was there, because they don't put it out there. Oh, well, we need this. We haven't advertised for it, but we need this. And it's like, okay, well, no one ever posted it or showed me anything, But it's really hard to get ahead in these little towns. And there's a lot of corruption. There's a lot of corruption in little towns. And not just talking about Redfield. I'm talking about towns in general, like little towns in general. You go to little towns in general, and there's cliques in the government, in the in the city. There's cliques amongst the community. Like, we actually lived next to some people once upon a time, and we're nice people. We don't have parties. We don't do anything. We don't do shit. But like, we were good. We mowed our fucking lawn. We did what we had to do. But these people like never talk to us at all. I had some issues with one of their kids, and like they threw me a whole shitload of attitude when all I asked was that their kid apologized for hitting my kid. And it was like, they always, give us the smugness all the time. And then because they happen to have a beef with us for some reason, I don't know, my cars weren't as nice as theirs. I'm not sure. My house was a nice little house. We took care of our house. Okay. What the hell? But through them, all of a sudden, there is other people that look down on us now, because these people have something to say. And that goes beyond. I mean, if you live in a bigger place, oh, well, your neighbor doesn't like you. You don't have to worry about running into them all over the place. You don't have to worry about your asshole neighbor working down somewhere where you need to go, and you need to have, you need to talk to people and stuff like that. And all of a sudden there's the, like that happens so much to where it's just, if one little thing, if you piss off one person in this town or in a small town, it has a domino effect because everybody knows everybody. It's really easy, and I'm not talking about this from my perspective, but it's really easy to burn bridges in this town. I've seen it happen. People, quit a few jobs and stuff like that, and all of a sudden they have no place to work. It's really shitty, man, because I used to live in bigger places. I used to live in big college towns and stuff. And yeah, man, like 100,000 people and up. I've lived in those kinds of places, and they're amazing. Just the diversity and the amount of things that you can do on a day-to-day basis, and the fact that, if you don't like your fucking neighbor, they're not going to be the fucking, the person that you have to go and ask that they don't turn your electricity off because you don't have enough. Like it's rugged. And that was just an example. That was not a personal thing at all. Actually, the lady that used to run the Northwestern Energy place here was actually a very, very nice lady. And I've seen it in other towns too. Like, I used to work at a place. I won't even say where because I don't want to put this out there hardcore. But, I've seen people, and this was before Me Too, the Me Too movement. So I don't know. Things could change. Things could have changed by now, but I'm pretty sure that I've looked up and that particular person still works there. But, sexual harassment, man. Like, there was a place that I worked at that in a small town that this person was actively sexually harassing people all the time. Like 4 or 5 times a year, probably they'd be turned in for some sort of harassment or some sort of I don't know how I felt about this, uncomfortable moments and just making people feel uncomfortable. There was even a person I think that had a restraining order out against this person and everything like that. But this person wasn't like high up, but they were definitely higher than the jobs that we were doing and such. And I knew a lot of people that turned this particular person in for sexual harassment and making them feel uncomfortable and lewd remarks and stuff like that. And they never got fired because they're like, oh, that's just that person. That's what they say in the higher up part. And it's like, what? Like, that's not, that can't be right. Like, that's not a thing. Like, you can't just say that. That person kisses the right ass or kissed the right ass. I don't even know. I don't know if that person still works there or not. But the last I looked, they did. But, I see stuff like that. And that's this small town environment thing where it's just like, oh, that's just Walt. He likes slapping ladies on the butt, or he likes saying the N-word a lot, and it's just these small towns. People get away with so much because of their name, because of their money. If I had a fuckload of money, I tell you what, this town would be kissing my fucking ass. This town kisses everybody's ass when it comes to if they have money or not. There is a person, I'm going to say this, on YouTube, on YouTube, on all of my Anchor things that I do, all the podcasting channels that this goes through. I'm going to say this right now. Redfield has a person that drives a massive white Chevy Suburban, and it's white, as white as you can get it. And do you want to know what that fucking license plate on this thing says? Fuhrer. Fuhrer. I even looked it up. I was like, maybe that's something that Hitler adopted. They even adopted the swastika from Hindu stuff or something like that. But, they adopted that from a different thing. So maybe he adopted the word Führer. No. Führer is what Hitler was. that was I think that was the first time that the word Führer was used in accordance to somebody, and that was Hitler. And it's like this person drives around town like this. If he lived in any of the places that I used to live, that guy would have had that car torched. And rightly fucking so. Holy crap. Holy crap. It's ridiculous, man. Absolutely ridiculous. I'm going to take a pause right now. And Robert Mehling, I think that's how you say your name, man. I don't know. I don't think I've ever heard you say your whole name. I've never met you in person. But Robert Mehling from the Sioux Empire Podcast in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, wanted me to plug some of his upcoming stuff for the Sioux Empire Podcast and some really cool, like, it's like a Twilight Zone-y kind of thing that they're going to start doing, like an audio Twilight Zone thing, which is amazing. I actually have like 12 different like Twilight Zone-y stories written out and stuff like that I've been waiting to produce, and I actually have one I'm gonna start producing here in the next couple months. But yeah, so you guys are gonna listen to something. Check out the Sioux Empire Podcast. They have a lot of really cool stuff, and this is just one of those things that I'm actually really looking forward to in the ways of like podcasts and stuff like that. So check this out really quick.
At the fringes of perception, beyond the boundaries of your mind, just past the glow of the firelight, out of the corner of your eyes, you will find an edge case. Edge Case Podcast, coming September 10th. Learn more at edgecasepod.com.
So this is part 2 of the podcast, and we're talking about small towns and how much it kind of sucks to live here, and the different ways that it sucks, and the things I wish that could be improved about it. We talked about hierarchies and social groups and cliques and stuff like that. I'm going to switch gears a little bit, and I'm going to start talking about artistry in small towns. Artistry in small towns is really, at least around here, it's really in the decline. You know, I remember in Aberdeen when you used to be able to find live music at least once a week, sometimes, you know, but different places. I know that Slackers is doing amazing things. The Red Rooster still has stuff and everything, but it's not what it used to be by any means. From when I was a kid, or from when I was a really little kid, when like the Lumber Company was open and that club place downtown, when the Ward was having a lot of different stuff. Like, you know, my dad gigged around. My dad did that. He was able to make a living off of that for a while, and a lot of people did. And when I was a teenager, you know, we had bands like Align coming in all the time, but we also had local musicians doing a lot of stuff. There was a time there where there was a guy in Aberdeen, I want to give him a lot of credit, named Zach Carrolls. And Zach Carrolls brought a lot of really good music to Aberdeen, but also brought a lot of festival-type atmospheres for local bands to get down on. And that he was a really... God, he really tried to be, and I think he succeeded in a way for his time. He really tried to be a pioneer of the local live music and arts scene in Aberdeen. And I think for about 10 years there, it really worked. And then he moved away, and places closed, and this place closed, and that place closed, and it's just, you know, the Eagles is closed now. The Ward is closed now. There's just not a lot. And then when you have bands coming in, a lot of times they're cover bands. Well, like I say, I got to give it to Slackers, because Slackers has live music down there, and it's not all just cover bands. They're actual bands from around America, which is amazing. But I also want to see like local artistry. And this kind of goes for all of America. This just kind of goes for the world. Like being a local artist, being a homemade artist, putting your stuff out there, whether it be singing, writing, painting, anything like that. It's tough, man. It's tough doing that stuff and getting it out to an audience, especially in a small town. You know, I have artist friends that have had shows in Aberdeen, you know, art shows and stuff like that. And it's just kind of one of those things where people are like, you know, whereas in bigger places, these are actual things. Like people go to an art exhibit, you know, people go to an art exhibit to see art. And there's not a lot of that here. Really, there isn't. The Rooster does some stuff, and I give, like I said, I gotta give Roosters and or the Red Rooster and Slackers a lot of credit for that, because they bring a lot of that stuff. Slackers brings a lot of the music and the comedy and stuff, and the Red Rooster brings as much of a plethora of artistry that they can, which I'm supremely grateful for. But at the same time, we need to see more of that stuff, and I wish that the people in these small towns would go out for stuff like that. 'Cause I don't know how many times I've gone to Slackers to do stand up, or just check out the open mic or whatever, and there's like 2 people in the fucking bar, and it's like, come on, man. Like, God, where I come from, that was a thing. The thing to do was the things to do. That's what you did. Like, what's going on tonight? Like that, we're not sitting here. We're not going to the bar just to go drink or anything like that. It's like, what is there cool to do tonight? Oh, there's some girls doing belly dancing down on the square. There's Peace Park is having this going on at Peace Park for this day, and there's a slam poetry thing down the road, or we can go to some comedy, or hey, you can go and see the live band that's over here. And like that, the thing to do was the things to do, and now the thing to do is to just, I don't know, drink and Netflix and chill, I guess. I don't know, man. It's just really, really, and sometimes the quality of people, like I said, man, there's cliques, and there's cliques when it comes to the artist scene too. Like there really is. And I've seen it in some of the stuff that I've been a part of. And I'm going to say these stories. I'm not going to say any names. I'm not going to bring that down on them. I have my own issues with them, and that's how they'll stay, but I'm just going to give you a couple of examples, there have been a couple of really great comedians that have come through Aberdeen, college students, stuff like that. They're funny. They're funny in great ways, not but actually funny people. And some of it's dry and some of it's crude, but they're funny. They do it, and they're really good at it. And I looked forward to seeing them hone their skills, and really create it. But I was really looking forward to seeing these guys progress and, possibly go somewhere, and feel honored that I was sharing the stage with these people, and one of them tried hosting one time and got pretty much chewed out for how he hosted, and he's kind of a dry comedian and stuff like that, and it worked. But like, he got chewed out by one of the regulars that put it on and stuff like that. He got chewed out about how he did it, and it's like, fuck you, dude. Like, let this guy do his thing. It's one night. It's Aberdeen. What the hell? What does it matter? Let him do it. He's not standing in front of, he's not at the fucking Apollo or fucking Gotham or something like that, man. He's standing in Slackers in Aberdeen. Let him do his fucking shit. And it's amazing. He's talented. Guess what? He never fucking came back. Never came back. There was another guy who happened to consume some alcoholic beverages before his performances, and I thought he was fucking hysterical. And then all of a sudden he got chewed out because somebody made a snide comment. One of the dudes made a snide comment about him drinking too much. He's never been back. And he was amazing. And it's fucking sad, man. That shit's fucking sad. And I'm glad that I kind of pushed through on a couple of different occasions. My first time going down to do some stand-up, the person putting it on at the time, I didn't know anybody. I was down there alone and stuff. My friends came in a little bit later, but I went up, hey, who's running the stand-up tonight? Oh, that is that person over there. And so I went over to that person, and I was like, hey, man, is there a sheet I got to sign up on or something like that so I can do this? And And he threw me a bunch of attitude, like, yeah, right, yeah, like, anybody's gonna be here, and like, but he was like directing it at me, like I was stupid for asking him, and he was just an asshole. I don't remember exactly what he said to me. I just remember it was very fucking off-putting. And I was like, okay, man, so, all right, thanks, And I got up, and I didn't do too bad. I did pretty good. I got a lot of laughs and everything. One would say that I killed it. I killed it. I was pretty fucking proud of myself, man. Then at the end of it, this dude come up to me, and all of a sudden he's all handshakes and fucking smiles, and it's like, oh, you fuck. I hate people like that, man. You should be happy someone wants to participate, whether they suck or not. Like, doesn't matter, dude. Everybody's out there to have fun. We're not at Gotham fucking Comedy Club here. We're not at the fucking Laugh Factory. We're at Slackers in Aberdeen, South Dakota. Most of the people in here don't even know what's going on. But, so that kind of tripped me up a little bit. There was another time I did some comedy. I was asked to do some comedy. And I was told at the particular venue that it had to be clean comedy. And so I did it. I wrote a completely clean set. And I practiced it the whole way to Aberdeen. 40 miles, 40 minutes of me just going over it over and over and over again in the car. And I got there, and I was like the fourth comedian or something like that. And the guys before me were like doing dick jokes. And one of them had a joke about like him sexting with his mom, and it got a little dirty up in there. And there was some F-bombs laid out. There was, it was not clean, and there was no kids in the fucking building. So I figured, I'm sitting there, I read the room, and I was like, fuck this. I'm going to do this my way. I'm going to go up there. I'm going to do what I got to do. I'm going to get some laughs. And so I did. And this dude got mad at me. And I was like, man, the people before me were doing shit like that, man. Like, what the hell? And even the person that ran the establishment that I was doing to even said, hey, good job. Some people even offered to take me out afterwards. Went to Scotty's afterwards, and they offered to, hey, well, can we buy you dinner? I'm like, fuck yeah, dude, sure. That was awesome. Like, I had a great night. And then all of a sudden I find out, oh, this dude fucking pissed at me and shit. It's like, oh my God, man. But I keep going back when I can. I kind of got into it with that fucking dude about that, but I just, I just miss the old days when I lived in towns that weren't like this. There wasn't these cliques and just snobs, man. There's a lot of snobs, like, and you have no reason to be snobby. You live in Aberdeen, South Dakota. You live in Redfield, South Dakota. There's no reason for you to be snobby at all. I don't know, man. This whole podcast may be just me just bitching about it and stuff like that. And I know I need to work on getting us out, but honestly, there's some extenuating circumstances, not legal. There's some extenuating circumstances that kind of prevent us from leaving right now. We would love to go back to Wisconsin. I would love to move back to Missouri, but I don't think it's probably not a possibility because my wife doesn't know anybody down there, neither do my kids, and I barely know anybody down there anymore, but it was beautiful down there. But I don't know. We want to get out of here, but right now, we literally cannot. And it has nothing to do with money. It has nothing to do with legal issues or anything like that. There's some extenuating circumstances that just prevent us from uprooting right now. So we have to deal with it, man. And it's really tough. It's really tough to be an artist around here because we don't have a lot in the ways of artistic outlets. And it's sad, man. It's really, really sad that people with talent other than just swinging a fucking hammer, or running a tractor, or just doing these day-to-day bullshit jobs. Like, I remember watching, there's a band out there called the String Cheese Incident. I remember watching a documentary of theirs one time, and the guitar player, Billy Nurse, was like, yeah, I tried to do, the regular 8 to 5 job and decided, well, I didn't like that, so we, started this band. Fuck, man, I wish I could do that. I just know so many artists. Julian Craig in Aberdeen is an amazing artist. Paints, drawings, all that stuff. My friend Sarah is an amazing artist. My friend Derek just released a book. Hasn't sold nearly as many copies as he'd hoped, and it's a book. It's fucking published, and it's amazing, and can't get any spread on it. And Ish the Stomach, I think, is a literary and musical genius. And I think that the people of Aberdeen should be thanking that guy for just existing in the same realm as them, because he is just that talented. There's so much talent that, and it can be eclipsed by other people's talent. Like, there's also that whole thing where it's like stables of people. There's these people that are stabled into, they've cornered the market, the usual stable of people. They've cornered the market on this, that, and the other thing in Aberdeen, and it's hard to have anybody else get ahead when these people have already cornered the market. But yeah, man, just the hierarchy bullshit and the cliquey bullshit and just everybody knows everybody and the rumor mill and stuff. Like, I remember we had a friend that we worked with, my wife and I worked with, and my wife and her were in the same training class together, and they became friends. And this girl happened to live across the street from us in an apartment building. So, and she didn't know anybody. Like, she was here, she left her old man and stuff like that. It was kind of a crazy situation that but she came here and she got this job, and she was, doing it on her own, getting out there and doing it on her own. And so we were all she had, basically. In the ways of friends. And so she'd come over and she'd use our washing machine and stuff like that. But me and her worked the same shift. Her and my wife were, really good friends. We were all friends. But me and her worked the same shift, so we took our breaks together a lot. And then when, during the day when my wife was at work or something, she would come over and do laundry. She'd come over and watch movies, just hang out, just hang out. 100%. No fucking bones about it. We were just friends. And all of a sudden, this dude was storing a truck topper in my backyard or something. So he came over to get it, and I was helping him put it on his truck. He's like, so I heard you and this girl are sleeping together now. I'm like, what? Like, what? Really, dude? No, we weren't. No, that wasn't happening. Like, sorry. Just wasn't happening. But so I know, and I even know, like, there's people out there that, like, they will not go and, like, take time off of work because they need to see somebody about some possible psychological, emotional problems that they have, because they're worried about what everybody's going to say. Because the moment that somebody catches wind of that, then all of a sudden they're damaged and they're fucking weird and all this stuff. And then all of a sudden, then they're never going to be able to find a different job in that town because everybody's going to think they're a fucking head case just because they're having some fucking emotions right now. They're having some issues they need to work through. Like, that's sad and it's scary. There's a lot of in the closet and hating it homosexuals in this town. There's in the closet and hating it because they are those homosexuals that that, you know, don't believe they should be, and that, you know, and they like hate themselves for it, and so they closet themselves and stuff like that. And there's people that are in the closet around here because they have to be, because they feel like they have to be, because how fucking weird is everybody is around here, and about how much everybody talks, and all the fucking rumors and all this and that and the other thing. And it's really hard for them to live the life that they should be able to live. And it sucks because South Dakota has that stigma that we're all just a bunch of backward ass fucking rednecks. And it really sucks for people like that. There was a gentleman in town that committed suicide because he was constantly picked on and bullied because of his sexual orientation. And that's fucking sad, man. It is absolutely like one of the worst things that you could ever ask for, you know, to happen to, you know, your son or your friend or your brother or your sister or your daughter. It's like, or to you. It shouldn't have to be like that, man. And these small towns perpetuate that crap. And people get away with crap in small towns because of who they know and how much money they have. It's just like high school, man. In high school, it's like if you didn't have looks, money, or athletic ability, you were fucked. Like you were at the bottom of the fucking totem pole, man. And it's really, really tough living in small towns. So people that are looking to move into small towns, I hope you got a lot of fucking money, man. Or you look like Megan Fox, or you're a goddamn running back, you know, or, you know, whatever, man. It's tough. It's tough living here, especially when you're different. There's people that fit into this mold perfectly. They're up on all the drama, and they know every single person and everybody's business, and everybody knows their business, and they all, you know, there's that main group of people. But then for the outsiders that don't conform to everything, it's tough. It's tough for them. It's tough for the people that, the watchers and the artists and, you know, just the introverts and the LGBTQ communities. You know, it's tough. So if you're thinking about moving to a town like this, just beware. Beware. Because it'll eat you up, man. I know that my wife and I we've definitely had more disagreements and arguments, and the tension has been more palpable, if that's a word, if that's the word. Tension's been a lot more thick since we lived here. Before we lived here, it was a lot different. It was a lot different when we lived in a place that we could take the kids all the time, that wasn't the same place all the time. And we didn't have to deal with neighbors being the people making decisions for us and stuff like that. And it's just, I miss living where you could live in obscurity a little bit more, and your personal life and your professional life didn't clash so much. Yeah, it's tough. And I feel for all the artists out there. I feel for all the LGBTQ community that has to, you know, live in small towns and stuff, and just the people that aren't in the loop, the people that choose not to be, or, you know, can't even choose not to be. They just aren't. They just aren't. They aren't those people. I'd say this town is probably 75%, you know, the people that fit into the mold, and the people that are perfectly happy living here and just doing the exact same thing every fucking day until the day they fucking die in this town. And I don't want that, you know? I want my kids to see the world. I want my kids to know, you know, I want my kids to see the other side of things, and not just white people with a few African Americans and a few Asians and, you know, sprinkled in. But I don't want that. I want them to see it all, just a melting pot of people and all sorts of different cultures and beliefs and everything. You know, because that's another thing, is religion's really huge around here too. And I don't care, personally. about religion. Like, I don't know. I don't know if there's a God. I don't know if any one of the million fucking things that people believe in out there, I don't know if any of it's right. Only people that know are probably the people that are dead, and they're dead. I don't know. Nobody knows for sure. That's my thing, is that nobody knows for sure. Nobody knows for sure if there's a God, if there's fate, or if or anything like that. Nobody knows. We're all fucking morons, man. So I say, it doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter what you believe in. It's just like fucking dogma. It shouldn't matter what you believe in, just that you believe in something. It doesn't matter who you have faith in. It just matters that you have faith. Like, I would love to buy that fucking church down here and just open the all faith fucking church, man. Where it's just like, hey, if you have faith, come in. You can pray to whatever fucking God you want, man. And I won't do sermons from the Holy Bible or anything like that. I'll just stand up there and talk about real fucking human beings doing real fucking good things for other real human beings. Good stories, uplifting stories. That's what I want to do. I could live in this town if I could do that, but I wouldn't do that. I couldn't do that because it's a small town, and I have like 2 people that would come in. It sucks. But anyways, guys, it's getting to be about that time. It's the Dakota Podcasting Experience. Find us on Twitter and Facebook at Dakota Podcast. And you can type that in. Hit subscribe. Subscribe to the whatever podcast you're listening to this on. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Share it with your friends. Do all that stuff. You can email us. I'll have all that crap in the description below. This was just kind of a me venting about small towns episode. I actually have a very interesting episode coming up that I'm going to have my very first guest, and it's going to get pretty real. It's going to be awesome. And then I have another person, my buddy Tim Reinbold wants to come on and talk about conspiracy theories, and I'm totally down for that. I want to hear some conspiracy theories. I love conspiracy theories. So let's talk about that. Check out the Sioux Empire Podcast and all the stuff that I plugged about them earlier. I'll put some stuff in the description below about that. But yeah, man, thank you guys for watching / listening. I hope I didn't bore you guys this time. I was just, like I said, I just kind of needed a venting session about small town America, because I feel like it's eating me up, guys. I feel like a little bit of tubes has been lost in this fucking mess. So, but I want to say this right now. I do not regret moving here, because in us moving here back in 2013 from a bigger city, my wife found her calling. I found my calling. I think that we needed this. So I don't regret the fact that we live here. My son gets to be around his dad, his real dad, because we lived anywhere else, he wouldn't be able to be around his real dad. And we are around my wife's family and stuff. I don't have much family left, so I'd love to live by them, but right now, like I said, extenuating circumstances are keeping us here. So while we're here, let's enjoy it together. I want some people on the couch. I think I'm gonna. If you don't know this, I actually have another channel on here called Silver Screen Showdown, where it's actually a movie trivia game show that I created. We've actually done 2 seasons now, and I'm starting to work on the 3rd season. And I was thinking I need to get a place to do it, but I honestly think that this room would do it. I just gotta slim it down a little bit. So I'm thinking about starting to kind of really produce season 3 of Silver Screen Showdown, and just have people come to my house. My house. I'm the boss. What? I'm the boss. Yeah, you said that. I'm the boss. Love you guys. I'll see you guys later. Tony Tubes, Dakota Podcasting Experience. Doc's over there passed out on the couch. Dr. Emmett Brown, the dog, passed out on the couch. We'll see you guys next time on another gripping episode of the Dakota Podcasting Experience.